Before I jump into the meat and potatoes, I want to give a shout out to Geek Fuel for sponsoring this video and supporting the channel. Geek Fuel sends out monthly mystery boxes stuffed with all sorts of goodies. And for a limited time, just for the HelloGreedo followers, they're offering some extra goodies. Simply use the link in the video description below to take advantage of this opportunity. Now, on with the show. Let's recap. Let's go over our notes. Let's dissect all the information that we've been given so far and bundle it up in a nice little package. There are still a lot of folks out there who don't exactly know what Rogue One is, when it takes place, what the plot is. Hey, if you don't follow Star Wars news like we all do, you're probably not fully aware of what this movie is all about. No biggie. So, let's go over the basics for any newcomers and toss in some specific details that you Uber fans might have missed. Here's everything you need to know before you go see Rogue One. Rogue One is the first Star Wars spin-off film. It takes place between Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, and Episode 4, A New Hope. It looks like the events that transpire in the film will happen really close to the beginning of A New Hope. Basically, all you need to know is that the second paragraph of the Episode 4 A New Hope opening crawl is the plot of Rogue One. Rebel spies manage to steal secret plans to the ultimate weapon, the Death Star. And that's what Rogue One will be about. Those spies. Those plans. So, if you're new to the franchise, I would recommend watching the original trilogy before you watch Rogue One. The new planet featured in Rogue One is called Jedha. Jedha is described as, quote, a small desert moon frosted by a permanent winter. Jedha is home to one of the first civilizations to explore the nature of the Force. At one time, a world important to the Jedi Order, Jedha serves as a holy site for pilgrims from across the galaxy who seek spiritual guidance. Now, the Empire occupies Jedha, and a prolonged battle between Imperial forces and scattered rebels carries on in the time-worn streets. Close quote. Rogue One will not have an opening crawl. I know this bums a lot of you out, maybe the majority of you, but I'm completely fine with it. Rogue One and all of the upcoming spin-off films had the opportunity to do something different, take chances, do things that the episodic films might not feel comfortable doing. And in taking these chances, they might anger or alienate a small percentage of the fan base. But I'm personally glad they're willing to push the envelope and mix things up. Kathleen Kennedy has confirmed it, so it must be true, right? Or maybe this is a big diversion tactic and I just bought it hook, line, and sinker. We all knew that John Williams would not be scoring Rogue One. Alexander Desplat was chosen to compose the tunes. But in September, it was announced that Desplat would no longer be scoring the film. Apparently, the reshooting schedule conflicted with his schedule, so the job went to Michael Giacchino. His credits are long and very impressive. He started his career making music for video games like Gargoyles on the Sega Genesis, Small Soldiers, Medal of Honor, Call of Duty, and a bunch more spanning nearly 2 decades. He's also made music for TV shows and a slew of movies such as Star Trek, John Carter, Star Trek Into Darkness, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, Star Trek Beyond, Jurassic World, Tomorrowland, Zootopia, and the list goes on. He's a busy man. On his to-do list is Rogue One, Spider-Man Homecoming, War of the Planet of the Apes, and The Incredibles 2. Rogue One had to undergo a bunch of reshoots. When the internet heard about this Rogue One reshoot, a whole bunch of folks freaked out. But reshoots are common. Extremely common. It's uncommon to not have reshoots. So I took the news with a shrug of the shoulders. Felicity Jones said, quote, obviously when you come to the edit, you see the film come together and you think, actually we could do this better, and this would make more sense if we did this. I've done it so many times. I mean, you wouldn't just give your first draft on this story, would you? Close quote. Maybe they're trying to put a little positive spin on the situation, but I just think it's normal, and people are reading a little too deep into it. Darth Vader will be in Rogue One, and he will once again be voiced by James Earl Jones. Those are facts, but there's also a couple rumors. One rumor is that Alden Ehrenreich will make a cameo as Han Solo. I find this highly unlikely. Another rumor is that Hayden Christensen will make a cameo as Anakin Skywalker. I find this even more unlikely. I don't think they want to muddy the waters too much with cameos and appearances from characters that we already know. I think the goal of Rogue One is to, overall, introduce us to new characters. Anyone can really start a rumor. Here, I'll start a rumor right here and pass this on. Let's trick the internet. I was just told by an extra special secret source on the inside that Lobot will appear in Rogue One, and we'll finally know why he wears that head thing. Confirmed! Let's talk about the cast. Jyn Erso is the main protagonist of the film. She is described as a criminal who ultimately gets captured by the Rebel Alliance and is given an opportunity to help fight against the Galactic Empire. She is played by Felicity Jones. Captain Cassian Andor, a Rebel officer, is played by Diego Luna. Baze, an assassin, is played by Jian Wing. K2SO is an Imperial droid whose allegiance was reprogrammed and now fights for the Rebellion. The droid is voiced by Alan Tudyk. Bodhi is a Rebel soldier and is played by Riz Ahmed. A spiritual warrior by the name of Chirrut is played by Donnie Yen. Forrest Whitaker will play Saul Guerrera, a guerrilla fighter. Mads Mikkelsen will be playing Jyn Erso's father, Galen Erso. And Ben Mendelsohn, who I'm most excited to see, will be portraying Director Krennic. He's an officer in the Empire. It looks like he'll be the main bad guy in the film. Rogue One is directed by Gareth Edwards. His movie directing credits include the 2010 film Monsters and the 2014 Godzilla movie. Quote, "Ever since I saw Star Wars, I knew exactly what I wanted to do for the rest of my life." Close quote. That seems to be the case with a lot of directors out there. Star Wars kickstarted a lot of directors' interest in movie magic. I'm excited to see what Gareth Edwards brings to the franchise. Rogue One will release on December 16th in the United States, but be sure to check out the full list of release dates to see when your area of the globe is firing up the projector, because a bunch of countries will be releasing it a few days early on December 14th and December 15th. If you really want to dive into the backstory of Rogue One, pick up a copy of Star Wars Catalyst. The novel takes place shortly before the events in Rogue One and gives details about some of the new characters. I'm gonna personally wait to read it until after I see Rogue One. I want to go into the theater as blind as I possibly can. And that's pretty much everything that you need to know going in to see Rogue One. I cannot wait to plop in the movie theater and hear the roar of the crowd again. Seeing a Star Wars movie in the theater is an experience like no other. Thanks again to Geek Fuel for offering HelloGreedo followers an exclusive opportunity. If any of you guys are still wondering what to get someone for the holidays or wondering what you should ask for, definitely click on the link in the video description below to get started. They offer a bunch of different plans, a bunch of different options, and a bunch of different goodies from a bunch of your favorite franchises. HelloGreedo, out.